everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play 80 Days. And as we left off in the last session, we were lucky to be alive. But alive we are, and here in Singapore. Now then, did we check out the market? Yes, we did. Good. But then we're going to stay in the hotel, and then we shall depart. But before we do, Batavia. What do we do? Do we embark straight away? Do we stay in Singapore and explore what's to offer? Do you know what? I wanted to explore Singapore, but time is of the essence. We must continue on. Although we can only take 2 cases. No, we can take 3. Lovely. Baking sunshine. Uncomfortable conditions and mild seas. But we have the valeting set, which means that we can move onwards with minimal fuss. The only boat we could find from Singapore heading through the Pacific Islands to the fort of Batavia was the Spicy Jake, a Dutch vessel crewed by decent men of fortune, at least we hope. I gulped with alarm, but we did not stay ashore. Keep tending to Mr. Fogg where possible. He's looking a bit haggard, and after our near-death experience, I'm sure our relationship, well, that's just a smidgen closer now. We maybe have a little bit more respect for him, but we hope it's reciprocal. We'll try our best to ensure he remains healthy. For now. The atmosphere around the pirates was tense, to say the least. We made a special effort to befriend them, which essentially meant I sat up on the sun-soaked deck and asked them to describe their bloody adventures in the mountains and tree-topped ridges that we passed. They seemed keen to talk, and their talk of throat-slitting went on for many hours. I listened with a raised eyebrow and an expression of disgust. Bit of jest, perhaps? Your laundry bills must be immense, I commented, and the men fell into paroxysms of laughter, slapping me on the back. You, one declared, are a card. Fitting in nicely. But not too nicely. Get us to Batavia, and then we shall be off on to passages new. The second day began with the Batavia in sight. The captain came and found us. I apologise if my men have made sport of you, he began in heavily accented English. They are children, cruel but kind-hearted. It is no matter, I replied foggishly. The captain nodded. Thank you for your trust, he said. Many treat us traders as pirates, but we are merely businessmen. He brought something from his pocket as he spoke. And speaking of business, I have a proposition for you. What manner of proposition? I asked courteously. I have been carrying this for some time, he said, opening his palm to reveal a small gleaming ruby. The dragon's eye, he said. How I got it is not important, only that I haven't been able to sell it. It's worth a few thousand to the right buyer. Yours for 300. I took a look at the gem. It sparkled with bloody lustre. How valuable it was, I could not tell, but it was certainly not glass. We have a bit of coin. I'm going to take the risk. You have a deal, I declared, trusting him. I counted out £300, careful not to let him see how much more we had, and he placed the ruby into my palm. May it bring you more luck than me, he said ominously. With that, he swept away. We made port a few hours later. In Brisbane! The Dragon's Eye should fetch a good price in Brisbane, apparently. Oh my god, right, the Dragon's Eye. 7,000! We're going to Brisbane, folks. We're going to Brisbane. Right, the Indian timetable we can sell because, well, we're no longer in India. Keep these 2 for now. Okay, so we've got a presser gauge engineer set. We have magnetic compass, heavy storm, rubber-soled shoes, frequent flyer, scented candle, valuable in Brisbane also. Okay, once again we'll check how many cases we can take. And whilst we're here, we'll just do a bit of exploration. Seeing as we didn't explore Singapore, we'll explore Batavia instead. And we unlock new routes. Brisbane, any chance? Where is Australia in relation... Oh, Australia's all the way down here. We can get to Brisbane from Batavia, but it doesn't take us to Manila. Ah, screw Manila. Screw it. That gem is worth far more than any Manilan selling point. The heart of Verhevenstad, the exalted city of Batavia, was a floating fort of gigantic iron struts built over the swamplands of Kali Besar and overlooking the Sunda Kalapa harbour. Dutch hotels and Chinese settlements dotted with Buddhist shrines pushed themselves up in the shadow of the walls, hemmed in by the sprawling, unplanned Javanese kampongs. I hailed a carriage to tour the city. The main mode of transportation within the city was the Harimar, a flat-bottomed steam carriage shaped and painted like a tiger, with paddle wheel claws which allowed it to cross canals and navigate swampland. It was surprisingly comfortable, despite its demonic smoke belching and scarlet-enameled eyes. Curiosity always gets the better of us. We ventured further south, careering through the lively Vismarkt fish market of low-roofed stalls and strange delicacies. Dense settlements sprawled labyrinth between the large Dutch colonial buildings as we went further from the walls. A huge explosion resounded to the north. The Harimar stopped. People in the street were pointing. I questioned my driver, who merely sighed and said, "Rebels." I waved at him to drive on, and we turned about sharply, though the going through the crowds was slow. It was late by the time I made my return to the docks. I was more than ready to depart the exalted city. It was clearly in terminal decline, as so many of these ill-conceived colonies seem to be. Right, I've heard enough. We're out of here. Right, what are we going to... So that's going to be worth 7,000 in Brisbane. The block of henna was worth 2,000 in Manila. It's worth 29 here. You know what? 7,000? You cannot turn that down, can you? You cannot turn that down. No chance. Right, let's plan our next destination. Now, the only trouble about going to Brisbane is we don't know where we could go from there, but I'm hoping that from Brisbane maybe to Auckland, and then from Auckland you got there, and then that takes us to South America. Although ideally I wanted to go to North America. Do I go where the money is? I mean, Honolulu would have been nice. Do we go where the money is? Manila, and then possibly try and reach Honolulu from there? Or do we go where we want to go, which would be Manila, followed by Honolulu? Oh, choices, choices, choices. It's 1,000 it's 1,000 coin to get to get there. It's 530 to get there. Auckland. I mean, obviously from Manila we don't have an onward route, which could be a problem. Do you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I think we might be able to get to Honolulu from Brisbane, though, which would be nice. We're going to chance it. How do we get to... Arrives Tuesday, departs in 2 days, negotiate for 910 coin. It's going to be worth it. Tomorrow at 10. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right, sleep, and hopefully we survive the night. We took a room at the Hotel das Indes, a fairly comfortable establishment overlooking the water. A perfect place to rest, though through the window we heard the sounds of explosions and shouting long into the night. It seemed Batavia itself was not a comfortable place after all. Yes, maybe not. Goodbye, and God bless you. Right, take me there. Embark. 3 cases, not a problem. It's going to cost 46 health. Monsieur Fogg doesn't have that. Is he going to die? Possibly. That's not a good sign. Can we afford to do this? I don't think we can chance it with him so ill. What about that? That's a minus 24. Maybe we rest up in the hotel another night and get his health up a bit. Oh, what the hell do we do? What the hell do we do? I don't want to screw this up now. By greed? I'm going to chance this. This could be the most foolish thing we've ever chosen to... Ah, but we do get a bonus for the valet insect. Right, this might just work. Go. Oh, it's going to be close. We're going to have to tend to his every whim. He's on his last legs, man. We boarded the Leyden, a Dutch submersible en route from Batavia to Brisbane. It had a crew of 5 and a surprisingly large cargo hold, which had been converted into our quarters. We've swapped a hold full of rifles and gunpowder for a couple of Englishmen, Captain Rosencrantz joked. I am French, Captain, I insisted tiredly. Oh, my apologies, the captain replied airily. Welcome aboard. It will be a beautiful journey to Brisbane, mark my words. Fogg, tend to his every needs. Your care is highly calming, he says. The first day's journey was along the surface of the water, although, as I understood it, we were descending extremely slowly throughout. Something to do with pressure, no doubt. The subject of pressure obsessed the crew, and every corridor of the small craft was fitted with an eye-level barometer. Since our last-minute rescue from the ocean en route to Singapore, I was unable to pass such a dial without checking it, and I became truly tense when towards evening we finally dipped under. The view became dim. There were not even any fish. I lit the lamps and tried to pretend I was in a building. Yes, I can see why we're not liking this journey. Greetings, First Mate. You are the French one, right? Right, Brisbane. Brisbane to Honolulu, preferably. Brisbane to Port Moresby, to Bloemfontein, that's South Africa. That's going the wrong way, surely. Brisbane to Santiago, could be America. Auckland we know, I think. Santiago. Okay. Auckland. Play some cards. Auckland. Lima's in Peru. Pitcairn Island. Pitcairn to Lima. Lima. Sorry, I'm just clicking through this now. Right. Does that reveal anything? It does reveal something. So we can go from Brisbane to New Zealand, Auckland, and then from Auckland we've got an onward journey, but we're going to South America, and I really wanted to go through the Caribbean. The crew were in fine fettle, and the larder was well stocked. Apparently selling weapons was a lucrative business. I found my moral qualms quite stole my appetite, and so I ate sparingly. Mr. Fogg was not similarly afflicted, and settled himself onto the observation deck with his ledger and a pencil, roundly ignoring the magnificent seascapes that were murkily illuminated by the Leyden's enormous phosphorescent lamps. Phosphorescent, rather. These long words go right over my head. Right, Foggy, keep tending to him. Give him a fresh shirt, mop his brow, cup of tea. Keep going, sir, keep going, we'll be all right. Captain Rosencrantz wanted to show me her collection of diving suits. They were armoured in copper plate and fixed with iron spikes all over. Are these of your own design? Trying to flatter a little bit. They are Ottoman military issue, she said, stroking her own suit and sighing happily. They were payment for a job well done. What was the job? Ah, no, my lips are sealed. She shook her head, her blonde ringlets bouncing. Merrily. A lady does not speak of her conquests. I hefted one of the helmets in my hand. It was heavy and leather-lined, with thick plate glass lenses, with polished tortoiseshell surrounds at the edges. Are you afraid of the water? The captain asks. I nearly drowned once. I shivered, thinking of our ill-fated journey from Colombo to Singapore, and the tea clipper crashing into the water. I do not care to repeat the experience. Captain Rosencrantz regarded me levelly. I find a great sense of peace in the ocean when I dive. Perhaps you should try it. A dive rather than a crash. Perhaps I will, I answered, though I confess I thought it unlikely. She said, and I suspected it would not be the end of our conversation on the matter. I know Mr. Passepartout likes the ladies, but even he has his limits. And diving underwater on a regular basis? No, thank you. The Great Barrier Reef is one of nature's great wonders, Captain Rosencrantz said to me at breakfast, holding out a diving helmet with one hand. Would you like to experience it close up? Oh, as I said, there are some things are even beyond Passepartout's scope. I would prefer to watch from the observation room. She looked disappointed for a moment, before bustling off, only pausing to remark, "Ah, well, it's not for everyone." I settled myself beside Mr. Fogg in the observation room. He was watching through the polished glass with mild interest. We were close enough to the surface for the sun's light to illuminate the water. At first I saw only a few fish dart here and there, but then the reef. Pillars and archways of living coral made an arcane temple of the ocean floor. I have never seen colours so bright. Deep, blushing pinks and indigo blues, searing orange and butter yellow. The ocean held so many mysteries in its depths. Behind the coral fans and flashing fins, its heart was still dark and cold. I heard a sharp knock on the glass and saw Captain Rosencrantz outside the observation window. She raised her leather-clad arm in a slow salute before pushing away towards the reef. A school of hundreds of blue-striped glinting fish obscured her from my vision. I wished I was out there with her. But not quite wishing to be in the actual situation, if you get my meaning. Suspended in the water, surrounded by life, but I was paralysed by fear after my recent experiences. Oh God, right, keep tending to Mr. Fogg. A shined pair of shoes? That is somewhat better. We surfaced a few miles off the coast of Brisbane, and so Monsieur Fogg and I stood on deck as we approached. Sharks followed the submersible curiously, and the crew amused themselves by giving them incongruous names. I waited it all out until we could finally disembark. Captain Rosencrantz gave us a little one-handed salute as we disembarked in the sparse pioneer town of Brisbane. And that was that. Hello, Brisbane. We've got an offer you cannot refuse after a night in the hotel to recover from the shock of being underwater once again. Okay, so we were settled into a hotel by Bulimba Creek in the suburb of Carina, surrounded by sugarcane vineyards, miles and miles of bush with wallabies, bears, iguanas, snakes, and all manner of murderous native wildlife. Too wild and untamed for me, I said to one of the maids, an indigenous Murray girl in a starched cotton uniform. It's very built up now, she lamented. I smiled and nodded. She quickly remembered her place and hurried from the room. I felt quite the churl. My only excuse, my exhaustion, for it does not rather make one curt. It does rather make one curt to be travelling ceaselessly across the world. And I fell into a dizzied, unquiet sleep in the black night, pierced with the sounds of shrieking birds and animals lowing against the churn of the sugar mills. Blissful, right? So blissful. Right, market not open, so we'll go for a bit of exploration. 4 hours worth, to be precise. We unlock a route that we already know, from Brisbane to... Oh, wait a minute. We're bypassing New Zealand and going straight to somewhere. One of the Layden's crew waved frantically at me from across the street. "Passepartout!" she gasped. "Over here!" Not one to leave a lady waiting. We cross over. and noticed that she was supporting herself with wooden crutches, her left shin bound up and splintered. "I need your help," she said, putting an ether rag to her face and inhaling deeply. "Please." "What happened to your leg?" I asked, wincing a little at the purpled flesh I could see above the bandages. "It's broken," she said. "The captain left me here to get healed, but Passepartout, the surgeon, is a quack. He wants to amputate my foot." "You must get a second opinion," I declared. She nodded fervently. Yes, I had the same thought, but I have to find one. I have this notice to put in the paper in Moreton Bay." She pulled a scrap of paper from her pocket and held it out to me. "It is too far for me to hobble." Oh my God, we're leaving Brisbane. But perhaps Monsieur Fogg could do with a bit more rest. "How far exactly is it?" I asked warily. "Only a few miles through the bush." Mr. Sucker Passepartout cannot help but want to assist the poor lady. "I will take your notice," I said with a sigh. The walk was long and arduous in the heat. But after an hour I was still determined. That poor lady's foot, we must save it. The baked dust sent dizzy trails spinning into the air, and strange creatures chittered in the scrub on either side. A man, I realised, could drop dead on these paths and not be found. This was a vast and empty country, perhaps the last such on earth, or so it seemed to me. I walked on, my feet growing more sore and worn with every step. I walked on, eventually reaching the small settlement around Moreton Bay. The shoreline was beautiful and dotted with little fishing boats, but I saw no large buildings and nothing that resembled a newspaper office. I asked the first person I passed, a woman carrying several loaves of fresh bread. "You said what?" she demanded. I asked again more slowly. "The Moreton Bay Courier. I have a notice for them." There was clearly a confusion. "The Courier? What, the paper?" "Yes, that's right." Another laugh. "You came to Moreton Bay to visit the Courier?" Indeed so." "Friend," came the reply, "the Courier's in the city, in Brisbane. Obviously. It's named after the bay, that's all. It's not here. Why would newspapermen and their like want to live out here?" I stared in horror. "Say, did you walk here? You must be half dead." A few people were gathered around me now. One gave me a cup of water, taking something from my hand to give it to me. I confess, I felt rather weak, and I drank. They sat me down in the shade. My head span and lapsed into fitful unconsciousness. A few minutes passed, and I began to feel myself as the water revived me. "Listen," one man said sympathetically. "I'm on my way down to town right now. If you want to ride..." "No, if you're well enough to ride." "To the newspaper?" I declared weakly. "Well then, you come with me." The man loaded me up into his cart and whipped the reins, and soon we were rattling along the dusty road once more. Trees that had crawled past now skimmed by in the other direction. "So, what do you want with the Courier, anyhow?" he asked. "You look like a foreigner to me." "I intend to give them this notice," I replied, reaching into my pocket to bring out the missive. But the notice was not in my pocket, not in either pocket, nor in my jacket, nor under my seat. I began to search around in some alarm, my driver looking at me with quiet interest, but not slowing the cart. "I had a notice," I insisted. It was in my hand." He looked blank. "You were clutching a filthy handkerchief, wet with sweat," he corrected. "I think someone got you a fresh one." There was nothing I could do. In my staggering from the heat, I had lost the submariner's vital notice. I could not even recreate it from memory, for I did not even know the woman's name. Finally, we returned into town, and I was dropped near our lodgings. The woman was waiting for me in the shade of one of the town's drinking dens, her face pale and sweaty with pain and heat. "You have been so long," she said. "Well, Did you place my notice? Still gasping for breath, I replied, The newspaper is not there, but is here, in this town. She looked at me blankly. Then give me back my letter and I will deliver it. I can't, I shook my head. My word is my bond and I must deliver it for you. Oh, covering his tracks. She chuckled a little at my lie, and I felt guilt twist through me. I will owe you for this passport too. I will not forget your kindness. I ducked my head and went inside to find my master. I all but begged him to leave Brisbane before my deception. I thought we were actually going to go and do something. I didn't realise we were just going to leave her hanging. Oh my God, how awful! Oh, I feel so bad. But I'm so sure my bad feelings will pass once I get 7,000 smackaroonies. Right, harmonica, valuable in Panama, San Pedro, Port-au-Prince. Part of the Jungle Traveller set. A machete. That might come in handy if we're going to South America. Harmonica. Panama. San Pedro. Not so sure. Right, and a didgeridoo. Acapulco. I don't even know where it is. So I'm not going to clutter my bags with it. Right, we're not going to Manila, so we're going to have to sell that now. Make some room. Okay. Lovely. So that'll do for now. 14,000 coin. And, well, where are we going next? From Brisbane, we only have one choice. In fact, that's a lie. We have two. Auckland, New Zealand. Or straight around to South America. Lima, Peru. I'm thinking Peru. Thank you very much. The more direct, the better. But to find out, join me next time. We've gone slightly off track, led astray by money. I wanted to visit Las Vegas, which is there, miles away from that, and then travel through America, and then through the Caribbean. Particularly, I wanted to visit Jamaica. We could just about hit the Caribbean from here, if we wanted, but we're certainly not going to get to go to America, so I'm a little bit disappointed. Unless in Auckland there is a way to Honolulu, which there might be. So I think I'm changing my mind, and we're going to visit Auckland next. There just may be a way to get to Honolulu, and then from Honolulu it's quite easy to get to America. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be next time. So yes, join me then when we shall continue on our journey around the world. And we have 28 days to go. Are we going to make it? Who knows, but Monsieur Fogg is looking a little bit peaky. Until next time, see you soon.